Morning, everybody. This is Brian Pounds with the Mammoth team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Southern Coast Real Estate. Today, I don't know whether anybody saw my post the other day about filters in my house and home maintenance. I kind of got a little lacking on a couple of things just because I got so busy with everything else, selling real estate, call me. But you kind of lack and you forget some things. This one's one that I haven't done yet since we've owned the home. We've only lived in the house for about 2 years, and which is, you're supposed to do it every 12 months to 18 months, and this is a flushing and a descaling. Now if you look underneath here, there are a couple of valves here that were installed when we installed the unit. So this is called a flushing and descaling kit. If your water heater, if you walk out there and there's a box on the bottom, take the box off. But if you don't have these two valves, you cannot do this process. And you need to call your plumber back out there and say, hey, why can't I flush and descale my valves? So these I already kind of loosened and got ready for it. So step one, what you want to do is you want to gather your tools. So right now what I have here in my bucket of tools, you probably don't need this one, but this is for doing a regular maintenance on the actual unit itself. Oh, and if you're not comfortable with doing this stuff and you're not a plumber, by all means call a plumber, call an HVAC technician, call an installer of these, and have them do it because you don't want to mess it up. Alright, so you've got your standard washing machine fill hose kit, which I keep in the bag at the store, so when I need one I go buy it. Screwdrivers, just in case you need to do a full maintenance on this. You need at least 1 gallon of distilled white vinegar, probably 2 or 3. I'm going to use a small bucket, so it's going to cycle through there for about an hour, so one should do me fine. Channel locks, probably don't need these. They were just in my plumbing bucket. Channel locks are essential, and then you need a submersible pump. This is not an ideal one. This is for a pond, but it'll definitely do the job. Accidentally sold / gave away, lent, I don't know, my other one to Phil. So Phil has my actual sump pump. It's also probably a little too powerful for what I'm doing. But I attached this spigot right to the top, which will actually go in there and will screw right onto these. That way I don't have to cut that and put a fitting on it, which was my original plan. But so what you're going to do first is you're going to want to shut off your gas. So if it is aimed like so in line, that means it is on, flowing gas, natural gas for my house. Turn it that way, making a cross and turning off the natural gas. Now what you want to do is shut off your water from, this is your water cold line coming into the water heater, and this is your hot line being dispersed after it goes into the house. I unplugged that already, but I unplugged it. So now we're a self-contained unit that is not flowing anything, nothing's going anywhere. Now, I'm gonna take these chinguses off, the covers. I cleaned this bucket relatively thorough so I wouldn't get any more junk into my water heater than necessary. I'm going to clean the filter. There's a little bitty filter right here that I'm going to pull off and clean before, and then I'm also going to pull it off and clean it after. That way I can see what's done, and it's also from what I'm going to pump through this pond filter. All right. Now, don't ask me why, but I always use the cold for the cold side. Alright. Most of the time you don't need to go crazy with stuff and over tighten things, because then you never get it off or you do damage to the threads. So the cold line is going to go to my water pump when I get around to that. this goes here as my drain side. Now that little plastic thing underneath here, we're going to remove that with our channel locks, but we're going to be gentle with it. There we go. It doesn't take much. Oh, I'm doing something backwards here. Alright, first things first, you want to drain your unit. So, you've got your drain bucket here, which is not the clean bucket. You're going to open your relief, your flush valve. And it's going to drain the remaining water out of there. Alright, so now that the unit is empty, and just so you know, that's the only amount of water that you have actually in your water heater at all times, which is why it saves so much energy and so much water, because you're not constantly, well, it doesn't save any water, but you're constantly heating a giant tank if you have a tank water heater. Now, this little thing should come out with the filter, and there's also an O-ring. Do not lose that O-ring. Now, if you can see, it's not bad, it's relatively clean. And we're going to be running vinegar through it. I brought a brush out here just in case. But trust me, it's going to be cleaned. Alright, so it's just a little yellowed on there. You can wipe it off. You can see the goo that's in the water here up in Somerville. It's really not bad up here. The water tastes fine. But nice and cleanish. And since I have this clean bucket, I'm going to fill it with a fresh bottle of white distilled vinegar. Alright, now you want to put this back in here. And like I said, it's a plastic screw thread, so you don't want to over tighten these things. And it's got O-rings built into there, so you're not really going to have any issues with it leaking. Now, we have my circulating side, which returns into that. And you have your supply side, which is going to be screwed right into here. And if you do something dumb that looks like this, make sure that you have it on, because otherwise your pump's going to be just pushing. Alright, now you always want an outlet right by your water heater, right by your HVAC, because it makes life a whole lot easier. And my pump doesn't sound so healthy because it's a little old, but it'll start pumping here in a second. There we go. Nice solid stream. And it's going to just keep recirculating this water. And you want to do this for about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, I warned everybody in the house, do everything hot water now, and then we'll change it out, and then you'll get hot water again later. And we'll see you guys back in an hour, and I can show you how to kind of redo everything that I just did in a backwards fashion. And it's going to clean the inside of this tankless just like it's new. But there's a couple other things you can do to kind of clean this. There's a fan in here and some other things. I'm not going to get into that because you don't want to mess with that kind of stuff. But thank you guys for checking in on me. And we'll see you guys back here in about an hour. Thanks.